Hi, welcome. I'm Tanishka Vidboy, and I really hope you feel welcomed already. And without further ado, let me get started. If you are a matriculant in this year, okay, or even if you are a student, a high schooler, anyone who's starting a new grade or term at the time that you watch this video, please. And even if you're not, I think you could still learn something out of this video that could help you, okay? Please do stick along and know that this is the time, okay? Woza. I will title this Woza Matrics, but this is applicable to anyone, not only matrics. Any student, anyone still in school, okay? Who is learning, preferably from high school and up. So, yeah. And without further ado, okay? If you really want to know how you even start this academic year, I'm going to try my best to post this video before school starts so that you guys can have this before school starts. But if it has, don't worry, it's still in the beginning stages, right? I hope that this reaches you in the beginning stages. So if you want to know how you need to start off this academic year, if you need to know what things you need to consider, what are some of the key things that are really going to help you to start off on the best foot ever or on the right note, then please, without further ado, let me get started and introduce you to the first point, which is a mindset shift. Okay, so what a mindset shift is, I know we've all heard about it, but I just want to be a bit formal and give definitions that I've thought about, and I have jotted the main points on my phone down. So I'm going to be reading, not reading from them, just going down to help me keep track of what I'm saying and to not diverge and go on a different train of thought than the one I've intended to. So if I do look down, it's because I'm just making sure that I'm on the right track, okay? But yeah, so a mindset shift, basically, I think a mindset shift is, listen, first and foremost, you need to realize that you're no longer grade 11. You're no longer in the previous grade you were in. You're now in a new grade. You're now a matriculant, not anymore pre-matriculant. No, you're a matric learner now. So having said that, certain things are going to be expected of you. Certain things are going to have to come from you. You're going to have to put in a bit more than you did, okay? And you're going to have to leave certain things behind because this is a new academic year, okay? And so don't let anything in the past that you did hold you back. Leave it there if it needs to be left there. If it's good, bring it with you so that it can continue to help you push through and definitely make a success of this year. But without speaking any further, that is what I think a mind shift what mindset shift is, okay? And it is expected that you behave appropriately because most of you are officially turning 18, and that means you are officially an adult and you need to act like an adult in matric. And what that means is, yes, you still need to have respect. You must have respect for those that are older than you, your parents, your teachers, mentors, right? Principals. You need to have respect for them, okay? But you also need to have these three characteristics that I'm going to mention that are going to help you to make sure that you are able to initiate that mindset shift. The first one is maturity. What maturity is it is knowing that you need to have a certain mental development and wisdom to be able to make sound choices. And so that is always knowing and keeping in mind, right, that your actions do in fact have consequences, okay? So whatever you do, make sure that they align with your goals that you have set for this year. More about that soon later on in the video. But that is what maturity is. Before I move on, actually, I want to read a verse from the gospel, and it's from 1 Corinthians 13, verse 11. And it says, "When I was a child, I talked like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I put the ways of childhood behind me." And so here, this is Paul speaking. I think that's self-explanatory. You're no longer a child now, or even if you're not 18 yet and you are in a new grade in matric, okay, or in a new year at university. You need to get wiser with age and with experience, okay? And then next is responsibility. And responsibility is knowing that you are in charge of your own education. And yes, don't get me wrong, your teachers, your educators, they're the ones who are responsible for teaching you, okay? And for making sure that you get all of the resources at school that they've been able to give to you, that you get that, and that you learn from them, okay? But it is also your responsibility to work with your teacher and not against them. By going home, let's say for example for English, I know in my year we had 2 books that we had to read, the drama and novel. Let's say that you attended an English class today, and or this morning rather. Let's say you attended an English class this morning and your teacher and your class went through the drama, okay? And you guys read through it, you were listening, but here's the thing. Here is a fact, scientifically proven fact. After the first hour of that class, only 50% of what was said in class is what you would have retained in your brain still from the class. Then, 24 hours after that class, only 30% of the information is retained, which means after a day, only 30% is left, which means that after a day, 70% gone with the wind, okay? And then after a whole week, only 10% is retained from that class, which means 90, gone, 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 far gone. And so it is your responsibility to go home after school and sit with that drama, read through what you guys read through, make sure you understand, make sure that if you are struggling, get extra additional resources that could help you better understand things. Because yes, whilst it is the teacher's job to teach you and help you understand, it is not solely her responsibility to help you fully understand things, to help you master things completely. At the end of the day, you yourself are still in charge of that, and so you need to be responsible and realize that, and put in the work and effort that you need to make sure that you do well this year. Because remember, it is your education, and you are the one who can determine what you are able to do with that education and how far you can take that education. As Nelson Mandela said, education is a powerful weapon which who you can use to change the world. Not your teacher, not someone else, you yourself. So that's why I think you are important for your own education as well. Next up is the characteristic, which is so important. Oh my gosh, guys. I think this is probably one of the ones that are up there for me, and that's accountability. This one could be overlooked because I think some people just confuse it with responsibility, and they're not the same. And I've explained what responsibility is, and here's accountability. Accountability means being honest with yourself, truly, and really reflecting and reevaluating. For example, let's say term 1 ended. I know, okay, we're jumping ahead quite fast, but bear with me. Hypothetically, let's say that you got your report and everything's looking quite good, you passed everything, except for example, maybe English did not look good or it looked shaky. And so instead of playing the blame game, which we don't play because that's not part of accountability, okay? You can't blame other people. You need to look at yourself, do introspection instead of extrospection, where you blame everyone else and look at everyone else but yourself. Trust me, it's not gonna help you. It's not gonna help the other person. It helps no one. So the best thing you can do for everyone else and yourself is by looking at yourself and making sure that you recognize where exactly you went wrong with English, and make sure that you know exactly how to correct those wrongs, okay? Because if there's one thing that I would want to know, then it would be where exactly I went wrong, what I got wrong for test and what I got right. Because guess what? I'm going to learn so much more from what I got wrong than from what I got right. And if there's one thing I want you to learn from this video, then please listen closely. Make peace with making mistakes, with failing. I'm not gonna say I don't wish this upon anyone, okay? You're not gonna fail. There's no such thing as failure. There is such thing as learning and growing. And people really underestimate it, right? Make perfect peace with making mistakes and failing, so that when time comes and when you don't get everything right and when everything is not as expected, that you don't think it's the end of the world, that you look at things as an opportunity to grow and to learn, because that is truly what failure is. It's just learning. and making sure that you know exactly where you went wrong so that you can learn from your mistakes and do better and correct all of those wrongs, okay? So those are the three characteristics that I really want you guys to make sure that you try your best to develop now already and to implement with everything that you do this year, because matric is going to need these three characteristics: maturity, okay, and responsibility, and most definitely accountability, okay? And so this is me signing out because I need to go, and I know that you have a short attention span and don't like listening to things for too long. So I will leave you in peace, and I really appreciate it. Break a leg. That is how we say it in drama.